Scripture I'll be reading to you this morning comes from Mark 7, verse 24 through 30. From there he set out and went away to the region of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know he was there, yet he could not escape notice. But a woman whose little daughter had an unclean spirit immediately heard about him, and she came and bowed down at his feet. Now the woman was a Gentile of Syrophoenician origin. She begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. He said to her, "Let the children be fed first, for it is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." But she answered him, "Sir, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." Then he said to her, "For saying that, you may go. The demon has left your daughter." So she went home, found the child lying on the bed, and the demon gone. We thank God for the reading of this word. Please pray with me. Oh, glorious Father, open our hearts and open our minds to your word this morning, to what it's calling out for us to be, for us to do, for us to hear. Allow your word to penetrate us, Lord, and fill us with your love. Lord, please allow the words that are spoken and sung here today to be pleasing to you and to this congregation. We ask all these things in your precious and holy name. Amen. Amen. So given the fact that I've got like 17 children, seems like it a lot, I don't get to watch much adult shows. Our TV is constantly on Paw Patrol or Puppy Dog Pals and things like that. And you know, it gets real rough for me sometimes. And during the week, I bring my work home. And so I will be sitting in the living room and I will be going over the scripture of what I'll be preaching on and just kind of have that set in my mind. Well, this last week, I came home and I was sitting there and I'm going through the scripture and I'm just reading it and reading it over and over and over again. And finally, Jenny is in the bedroom with Spencer. Spencer can't go to sleep now without his mom. But she's in there, she's watching an adult show. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, let me sneak out of the living room for a second and go in the bedroom so I can see just something adult. Just something. Well, I go in there and I lay down on the bed and I look up and Jenny's watching this show, The Bachelor in Paradise.
It's hilarious.
So I'm sitting there and I lay down and I'm watching this show with her and it is driving me crazy. It is beyond just ridiculous. And I sat there for about 5 minutes watching this show and I got up. And I started to walk out and I said, I can handle cartoons over this. And she goes, "Well, what's wrong?" And I said, "These people are so desperate." But it got me thinking about the scripture that I read for you this morning. Have any of y'all ever been desperate? Have you ever been so desperate that you'd be willing to try anything and everything? Well, I believe that the scripture today will bring us all hope. I believe that all of us here today will leave with a purpose, with peace, and with hope. Even a hope for those of you here today who don't consider themselves desperate. In the scripture I read for you today, we see Jesus set out to Tyre. Now, I had to do some calculations of where Jesus was and where he set out to, and it comes out to about 37 miles. Now, I'm talking about he got away from people, you know? Getting away from religious folks, right? He is exhausted from his work of ministry and trying to get away for some badly needed rest. Ever felt like that before?
Yes.
But then he enters a house, and he doesn't want anyone to know he is there. But then this happens. Verse 25 and 26. But a woman whose little daughter had an unclean spirit immediately heard about him, and she came and bowed down at his feet. Now the woman was a Gentile of Syro-Phoenician origin. She begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. Now this woman is willing to try anything, even Christ. But what kind of faith is that? Reminds me of a story that my grandfather told me. My grandfather was a World War II vet and ended up getting a Purple Heart during World War II. And I remember him telling me these war stories. And he sat me down and, like, you know, it was terrible. And he said, but when the chips are down and we are all utterly desperate, when the bullets are flying over your head, then nearly everyone believes in God. He goes, Mike, there are no atheists in foxholes. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Because it seems like when the times are the most desperate, that's when we finally start to turn to Jesus. And this woman had what I consider foxhole faith. Now, she's introduced as a Gentile Syro-Phoenician, which means that she probably kneeled at dozens and dozens of different altars. Had probably been to every doctor that she could afford. And Jesus is her last resort. Now this woman is desperate. The picture of desperation. And I mean, who could blame her though? I mean, her daughter is ill. I would try anything for my kids. And as a pastor, I've seen parents whose children were ill drop everything, stay home from work, sit up all night in worry. I've seen them even camp out at hospitals and refuse to leave. This woman in the scripture today is like that. The true picture of desperation. All other things have failed. And now she comes to Jesus. But is this foxhole faith? Is that something worth celebrating? Is that something that we should be proud of when we hear this story? Is this something as a Christian we should celebrate and hold on to and be happy about? Now Jesus brushes her off at first and sits there and says, "Woman, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the lost sheep of Israel." But yet before the story is over, he receives her. I would imagine that most of us sitting in here today have been associated with the church a long time. Most of you probably were born and raised in the church. You've been a Christian for as long as you can remember. And maybe today you didn't come here starving, thirsty, or desperate. But then maybe some of you this morning here are desperate. Are desperate for Jesus in your life. Well, I want everyone to hear this good news today. Christ never leaves us where he finds us. Christ never leaves us where he finds us. We worship a God who desperately loves us. Who comes where we are. No matter where we are in our lives, he meets us there. So what if we're not desperate? What if you're sitting here and you're going, Mike, you're boring me. Talk to me about me. I'm not desperate. I'm here. I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian. I'm not desperate. What can I do with this? How can I grab a hold of this scripture? What is it speaking to me about? like Jesus in the gospel today, we need to reach out in a desperate and hurting world. If you came here today and you're not desperate for Jesus, I want you to hold on to that. That we need to reach out. That we need to go beyond our comfort zone. To reach out to those who weren't born Methodist. Who haven't been raised in the church. The other day I was in a gas station. The lady had a paper she was checking out in front of me, and on the front page of the paper there was something that a church had done in the community. And she pulled it out and she looked and she turned to the lady at the register and she goes, "Look, the church is relevant after all. Look what it actually did last week." As a pastor, I can tell you that my blood kind of boiled with that. Look at what the church did last week. We look at newspaper articles, we look at what the church is doing, and it's a once-a-month thing. Or it's a once-a-year thing, right? We look at the church and we sit there and go, our mission is what we're going to do is we're going to provide this once a month. Or we're going to provide this during this part of the year once. See, we're not called as a church to reach out every once in a while. The church doesn't have a mission to reach out in the world occasionally. The church is God's mission to the world every day. I have to admit, as a pastor, I'm rather bothered by churches that seem to do best with people who are not too troubled, not too needy, not too distressed. The church deals with people who are not too desperate. Now, I love seeing Jesus reaching out to the desperate with a love that makes us glad. Makes us glad that He, Jesus, in that same love, reached out to each and every one of us. We've got a pastor, a friend who I talk to on a somewhat regular basis, and he's a pastor of a big church. Big church pastor. Big church problems. I always joke with him about that. He just says you just add a zero to the cost, and that's just what it is. Same problems, different size. But I was talking to him, and he volunteers every week at a jail. One of the biggest churches in Georgia. And every week he volunteers at the jail. I turned to him, I said, when do you find time for this? How can you do this? And he turned to me and he goes, Mike, I got tired of running errands for people who are desperate. So I volunteer here at the jail, and he goes, you know what, Mike? You know what I've realized? The gospel wills. When it's not used for the desperate. Well, what can we do today? What can you do today? What can you do tomorrow? What can you do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? I know college football started again. Saturdays. Well, what can we do? What can we do each and every day? If you're here and you're desperate for Jesus, hear this. He never leaves us where he finds us. And if you're not desperate, I want you to make it a goal to be an everyday Christian. It's been asked of me. I've heard it before. Having conversations with people. I am not religious. I turn to them and I say, neither am I. See, religion is us reaching for God. That's us trying to build a ladder to God, to get on His level, to reach up to Him. But see, Christianity, being a Christian, that's God reaching for us. Each and every day. And He did that through His Son, Jesus Christ. Continuously reaches for us. I'm going to get you out of this heat and get you out into the heat. But I want you to think about what you can do each and every day. What seed can you plant? What part of Jesus can you mirror? What kind of love can you show? Christ never leaves us where He finds us. Let's pray. Oh, gracious Father, give us honestly to admit our need for You. Instill in us a knowledge of Your love. And know that Your love is enough for our need. And that Your love reaches out to us in our desperation. Help us also in times of comfort. To notice and embrace those who need you. Allow us to show them your love. That love that brings purpose, peace, and hope. Heavenly Father, we ask all these things in your precious and holy name.